Welcome to Finding Emo. I'm Blake Fisher. This is Chris Monier. This is Kyle Simmons. And this is our podcast where we discuss the music and songwriting and production of our favorite albums from the early aughts and thereabouts. Thanks for joining us. We're back. We're busy. We've got kids. Yeah. Kyle's back in school. He had to write a paper this morning at 5 a.m.
Major surgery.
And he had surgery. Yeah, look, Kyle, can you show it? You don't have it right now.
I don't have it. We'll show it on another one.
Kyle got a new ear. He can hear. Kyle's never been on a ear out of one of his ears, and so he's got a robot ear now, and it's awesome. So anyway, it's been a busy last couple months, but we're back on the train. We are recording new episodes. We're excited to be doing it, and today we're talking about the Format's Dog Problems, which is a 2006 album. I'll give you the brief history of this album. So Format had one full length before this, which we have done on the show before. You can check that one out if you want to. And then they got dropped from... I think they got dropped, what was it, Atlantic?
Yeah.
And so then they made this record, and they basically locked themselves in a studio for 12 hours a day for a couple months to make it. There's a lot going on in this record.
No, there's some ear candy.
2 months is a pretty quick thing.
Layers.
Some other things, like obviously the format is just Nate and Sam, although they had some other players on this. The drummer that played on most of this is the drummer from Blue Oyster Cult.
What?
Did not know that.
Wait.
Now I'm going to be listening for cowbell.
The 70s?
John O'Reilly,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yes.
Whoa.
He played most of it, which kind of makes sense because this
an
album has a 70s vibe.
No, definitely.
Oh, for sure.
No, that's in a lot of my notes is that, yeah.
Also,
Interesting.
the producer, who I'd never heard of, Steve McDonald, he
Most
also...
generic name ever.
He also
He owns McDonald's. That's it.
he
Move along.
ends up producing the next... we don't get another Format album after this, but he produces the first Fun album, which definitely feels similar to this record, right?
For sure.
So it makes sense. Also, Steve McDonald, fun fact, was one of the original players and members of Tenacious D.
What?
He played on that record.
Blake.
Isn't this weird?
Blake just said before tape rolled, like, hey, research isn't that big of a deal. It's like going like 3 degrees to, like, Kevin Bacon, sound engineer, on this album.
My brain wasn't ready for this.
Kevin Bacon. Yeah, that would be amazing. No, so I mean, this is all on Wikipedia. This is not that crazy of research, really. I promise you. But still, I'd never gone to the Format Dog Problems Wikipedia page, and so here we are. We know some more fun facts about this record. Definitely got some 70s vibes on it. It feels like one of those kind of records, and it was the last Format record we got.
Yeah.
We got some fun stuff after that, which was cool, but last Format record
I think you're right. I think the first Fun record is very similar to this.
The first Fun record is basically a continue. It's like we're still transitioning from Format to Fun, I felt like.
Jackson on the first Fun record, right?
No.
Oh,
yeah, no. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. But I thought you said Jack. I was thinking Sam. No, Sam is not on the Fun record. Yeah, it's same members of Fun the whole time, but we only got 2 records from them too. So yeah, that's really the information that you need to know about this. So recorded just 12 hours a day, 6 days a week for 2 months, and got this record done. And it's definitely, it feels like an FU to a label record.
It does.
Doesn't it kind of feel? I mean,
definitely.
Like, we're gonna be weird.
It's like,
deal with it.
It's a breakup record at the same time as it's a breakup record with a person and a label. And I feel like it feels like that. And I feel like we've talked about this over and over again, how bands seem to write great songs at least, and sometimes great records when they're super mad at like management or a label or something like that. And this feels like one of those records to me that they just, it had that vibe, and obviously
a happy mad vibe.
Yeah. And obviously Nate goes through a breakup in between, before this record, obviously.
I was picking up on that.
Yeah. Pretty lyrically obvious. So we'll get to lyrics and stuff as we start going track by track, but I guess
let's break up with him?
I don't know. I mean,
because he got really famous after this.
Yeah,
that's a bad one.
Yeah, I'd be like, wah.
I mean, I would
miss that train.
Judging by the lyrics of the record, it would sound like he got cheated on.
Yeah, I mean,
unless he just made that up. You are always only getting one side of the story when it's a songwriter. Yeah. That's the downside of dating.
There's not one side of cheating. Like, it happened or it didn't. So,
because like I'm confident,
but he does kind of hint at it, right? He's like,
right. Yeah, I'm confident that Taylor Swift is probably not the easiest girlfriend ever. Oof. But you would think that she was the victim based on every single song she's ever written. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. When you hear her side, it's like, but for the bro, it's probably not that complicated. I'm going to do everything I can to stay in this relationship with this woman.
I was going to say, with that, let the record state, I believe Taylor.
Okay.
I trust her.
I'm not saying I don't believe
Taylor,
any one side of a
you.
breakup. Right?
I mean, I get what you're saying. There's two sides to every
You've
story.
gotta
but
hear the
I'm
second.
on Taylor's side.
I just can't imagine like flying in her private jet and being like, "You kind of fat."
Wait, she's saying that to me?
No, I'm saying that to Taylor. Like, what kind of bad boyfriend? Like, why would you ever be a bad boyfriend to her? Why would you?
But maybe because she's just going to do it anyway, right?
Oh, so you?
That's
just go
how
for
I
broke.
interpreted what you just said. Like, you're on the private jet. You're like, you know
Oh.
what? You look fat. No one's going to believe you.
Plot twist. She loves it.
Well, yeah.
She's into it.
Hey, here's my theory. Some people, I think, some songwriters are kind of like looking for the misery for
Yes.
the
Oh, yeah.
songwriting
Oh, yeah.
material, and it wouldn't totally shock me if she was kind of one of those. Like, sure, I'll date Maddie from the 1975. I'm sure this is going to go swimmingly.
That one
Do you have
was
like a drug
definitely
problem? Because it would really help me out.
Do you have a heroin addiction by any chance that you got clean from but might relapse into?
Yeah.
Let's go out.
Let's go out. Let's date. I feel like, sometimes you're just rolling the dice and going, hey, worst case, I get a couple of top 10 singles out
Yeah.
of this.
I'll fix them, or I'll make a great record.
Or I'll make a great record.
Oh, that's right.
I guess it's a
or the other.
win-win situation.
win.
Anyway.
We all win.
Unless you get back on heroin. So let's lose for that guy.
The guy
Maddie.
does not win. The
Maddie
guy never
doesn't win.
wins.
Yeah, that's true.
The guy never wins. Ask Jake Gyllenhaal. He doesn't
Ask
win.
John Mayer.
We've gone off on a tangent on Taylor
Sorry.
Swift, but really all this applies to whoever Nate dated too. I don't really know.
Yeah.
we
don't
assume
know
it's
her.
not Taylor Swift.
No.
Probably not Taylor Swift. It could have been, I guess. She would
guess
have been
it-
like, no, she
No,
was
this-
not like born. She was like 10.
Doing some math? It's not her. It's
She
not
was
her.
17. Nope.
What's that?
math,
The
quick
producers
math.
are saying.
Oh, I got someone in my ear saying to stop talking right now.
Stop. Can you tell it's been a while since we've talked? Anyway, so let's go to first impressions. Kyle, what are your thoughts on the record? Did you listen to this back in the day, or is this one of the newer ones you've checked out?
Yeah, I mean, I totally did. What was the year on it?
2006.
Yeah.
Definitely
July
And-
11th.
And around then, like, we were all around one another pretty frequently,
most
so
definitely.
I wouldn't doubt that I listened to it with one of you guys. But yeah, I mean, I remember being weirded out by how different it was,
Yeah, it feels out of left field going from the last record to this one a little bit.
but I've always enjoyed it, and like, oh gosh, I always forget the other record that we did, Lullabies and
Interventions. and
Interventions. That record is special to me, and I love it so much. And then going from that to this, it was kind of jarring,
Yeah.
but I think maybe it took me like a week, and then I was all in, just because I'm into like dramatic and theatrical kind of stuff. So
But that's probably generally going to grow on you more than it's going to like hit you like a pop song.
it didn't show on me.
Yeah, it grows. I think I felt the same way. I mean, I liked it immediately, but I don't remember. I liked it a lot more as I listened to it more.
I think I
and more.
knew it was good.
Yes.
Upon
yes.
first listen. I don't know that I liked it upon first listen. Like this is good music. This sounds good,
Yeah.
but it's not the format.
There's a lot of albums from bands like this around this time that start doing this. They kind of like try to shed a little bit of the skin. Like Copeland's Eat, Sleep, Repeat was like that for me too, where I actually did not like it the first time I listened to it. It was just like it was too much of a change. But then like I really, and it really wasn't now looking back or whatever. But, and it only took like 2 or 3 times to be like, okay, actually, I think this is good. And then it kind of keeps happening. And this was kind of one of those records too. It's like, I definitely thought it was fun, which is funny to say.
Uh-huh.
It's like a fun record. Like it feels fun, which is funny because it's totally a breakup record, but it doesn't, if you didn't know English, you wouldn't think it was a sad record.
Completely.
Does that make sense? It's like
going
Motion
with
City
this?
soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like we talk
Yes.
about that all the time. It's
Totally.
like his lyrics are super depressing, but this is the most fun, depressing song
Yep.
I've ever listened to.
Yep.
And that's what this whole album kind of feels like. It feels very kind of big top. I mean, the first song it feels like literally an intro to a circus. Kind
Yeah,
of
they
thing.
waste
So-
no time.
Yeah, they go right into it. And it's very strange. Chris, what
Yeah.
about you? Were you in the same boat? You listened to this back then, too,
Ish,
right? Yeah.
ish. I'm with Kyle, but I don't think I strayed from that opinion. I was like, this is good. I don't think it's my thing. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this. This is young Chris.
Yeah.
So this is really my first real pass at this one.
Okay.
Fresh ears.
So you'll be more fresh.
I'm
Yeah.
anxious to hear what you thought.
There's a lot of music. Excuse me. There's a lot of music coming out at that time. So
Yeah.
your cue's kind of locked up. You're like,
Yep.
you know what? Not my thing.
You only got
not
a
gonna
5
spend
disc changer.
That's right. I'm gonna spend a lot of time
Well,
on this if it's not my thing.
And I mean, I don't think I owned an iPod at this point in 2006 for sure. But you still had to buy the music. So there was a limited number.
Oh, no, exactly.
Or have someone that had it. Yeah. It was
financial investment. Yeah.
Yeah. You were spending at least $10 a pop. And not like Spotify now. Although I find myself doing when we do albums sometimes that I wasn't into back then. And then I listen to now and I'm like, well, I don't know why I didn't. I surely could have just ripped this from someone and put it on my iPod and checked it out.
Right. The economics of music have changed so much that
totally different.
My impression of this album now would not have stopped me from listening more because I'd be like, I'll put it in the queue.
Yep.
I'll get into it.
Yep.
All right. Well, I mean, I think first impression is pretty much we like it. New impressions from Chris, so it'll be interesting to hear his. Mine, I liked it. I was probably the most into it right when it came out. I'm gonna guess.
I actually do remember you being hot on this, and I was like, yes, I don't know, man.
I love the format. I think they were great. You all know that I like pop music. I like great melodies, and they did a really good job of melodies.
Yeah.
So I liked it.
They do.
They're
good at that.
Quite
loaded up.
Quite good at it. Well, let's get into track by track then. I don't think we need to intro this anymore. So track 1 is Matches. Let's play that. Here we go.
You are still out on a night with your friends, and you don't seem tired, but I'm not around. I'm under the tunnel now, holding my breath. I searched every pocket that hung in the closet.
It's like through it.
All right. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Go figure. Track 1, Kyle. What are your thoughts?
So I love it. I mean, I think it's just crazy. It's theatrical. Is that the? Am I using that right?
It's perfect.
Yeah, no, it's dramatic. It's
dramatic.
Yeah.
It's Elfman-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got like timpanis and stuff coming in after that.
Some serious orchestration.
It's pretty great. I mean, it definitely sets the tone for what's going to happen later as far as we're going to have, I don't know. It just feels like this is.
Yeah, they're coming out of the gate like, hey, this is different.
It's gonna be different.
This is gonna be different.
It's not
ready to get weird.
It's not the last just like straight pop rock record that you had last time. It's definitely gonna be a little bit more like an adventure, and I like it. It's a good thing, and I love. I mean, I know we're not to track 2, but the transition into the next track is kind of perfect.
Yeah,
and so it kind of sets up sort of like I wouldn't call this a concept album because it doesn't feel like that. It just feels like it's an album about a breakup, but.
I think musically it can feel like that at times, right? Because like the instrumentation.
Yeah, my dog is hanging out in here. Well, go lay down.
Fourth member of the
dog on me. Yeah, the pod. PAWD.
Oh, no,
bud.
I see what you're doing there.
I forgot what I was saying. Cute puppy.
Yeah, I know.
You were saying it's kind of thematic.
Musically, it's kind of thematic. But yeah, I agree. Not a concept album.
Yep.
Yeah, I would not call. But I mean, it has a little bit of that kind of like Sgt. Peppery feel, where it's kind of like, we're doing something dramatic here and stuff. So
always the Beatles and the Beach Boys, man.
Always. Everything points back to him. Chris, thoughts on the first track?
I just get nostalgic when I hear Nate's voice. It is one of the most unique sounding voices in this genre of music, and so I like ripping off the Band-Aid by just letting him wail a little bit because it's contrasts a lot with the beginning of the other record, which is just some really loud drums.
Yeah,
which makes it kind of. That album, I feel like, introduces you right away, like, oh, this is going to be a pop punk rock and roll record.
On the floor.
And this one's like, this is going to be weird, you guys. Here's a, what is that called? This thing? Accordion.
Oh, an accordion.
What?
The squeeze box?
Squeeze box.
No, like, accordion.
I've got a tangent.
I never remember that word.
I have to tangent. Have you guys seen the YouTube videos where they animate Trump playing an accordion because he talks with his hands like that all the time?
No, but it's going on the list.
Oh, you've got it. It's so funny.
Chris, you're talking about Nate's voice, and it reminded me my favorite part of this song vocally is he's kind of low and chill. He kind of holds back.
He's very low and chill.
And when he hits that, do you remember when we made love on the floor and there's that secondary? Yes, it is awesome. It just sweeps right along with the music. That's easily my favorite vocal part.
Yeah, I mean, this record, and we'll get as we go track into track and stuff like that. This band was not big enough to warrant it, but this should be a Broadway musical, right?
Dude.
This should be one that they turn into.
That would be cool.
Like a thing, right? It would be cool.
It would be awesome. Also, like Nate's voice is so special. This is one of those records that hurts a little to sing along to because you recognize how bad your voice is.
I don't understand how he hits the note. Like his voice is just very high.
It's high, but the timbre of it's not emo
Character.
whiny. You know what I'm trying to say?
Cool.
Like
Jordan
from Newfound Glory, he hits on a note, and you're like, yeah, you get that nose going there,
because
buddy.
his is nasally.
You know?
And I feel like Nate's is high, Jordan's is nasally, and there's definitely a difference between those kind of sounds.
He could have been a Broadway actor. Nate could have.
I don't know. I don't think he's got that kind of.
No?
Well, I don't know. I don't know enough about that kind of thing. I feel like it's not traditionally good enough.
Oh.
Does that make sense? Like he's a rock and roll singer still.
We'll never know.
Or maybe he'll try to go get him. Maybe he'll go be on Broadway. Yeah. Okay, let's go to track 2, which is I'm Actual, which just goes straight into this one, actually. All right, I'm Actual. Let's Chris. We did Kyle first time. I keep going to Kyle first. Chris, you take a turn first on track 2.
I will. Great orchestration. Dare I say magical, whimsical vibe going on? Like this is tripping balls, man. Like it's super. I wrote down early 1900s World's Fair vibe.
Oh yeah.
Like that's like literally just picturing. Like how did they even, sorry, I have no words for this. How did they even decide to start making music like this? Like, does somebody just like get super stoned or have a dream, or are they watching like the Wall-E movie?
Yeah, is it drug induced?
Like, you don't just start here.
It
sounds great. I love it. But yeah.
I don't claim to know Nate's personal life, but I know he talks a lot of times on these albums about, like, it seems like he didn't even maybe drink or something.
Yeah.
So I would doubt drug induced, but maybe, I don't know, could be. I think that I have no idea because the orchestration on this is like straight up. You're right. It's like a movie or Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
Or
it's great. Yeah. Just how do you get
the Electric Light Parade at Disney World or something? I mean, it's kind of like, it's pretty crazy. But yeah,
that's what it was. He saw that.
It's Mary Poppins-esque.
Let's do an album.
But I do
like this without the lights, just the sounds.
I didn't do it in the clip, obviously, but like the perfect transition from the end of the first song into this one as like a whole thing is excellent. And it's very cool how they did that. And it's even more setting up. You're like, okay, this is like a thing. Like, are they going to do this for a whole album? Like, American Idiot kind of, I mean, like,
right. This wasn't just a trick for the intro. Like you guys you're all in.
You're doing
we're
this.
going. Okay. Yeah. Kyle, what about you?
I love it. All the same things you guys are saying, super just grand, huge feeling. I think the conversational style of his lyrics on this is just wild. Like,
love it.
Like my hatred of corporate magazines, like that's a line, and it sticks out, right? I love it, but like I wouldn't dare, like I wouldn't go there.
It's also crazy. Like I feel like Nate's a guy that I don't know if it's fair to say, like, from lyrically or from what just like you heard kind of in the scene. I think he had a bit of an ego on him, and it seems like he's almost just owning it on this one. Like, let's just take this hour and talk about me.
Yeah,
I kind of appreciate it.
Sure.
I think I'm gonna guess that this is me just knowing artistic people, because I've always considered myself more of like, I songwrite, I'm a musician, but like Chris and I were extroverts. We liked talking to people. We liked making merch. We liked doing the things in the band that like made money and, you know, and were important to do.
We were in it for the capitalism.
Yeah, we wanted all the sweet money.
It's all about the green.
Sweet money. But some artists are very much like, I want to write songs. I don't really want to talk to people about them. I don't want to explain them. I don't even like, you know.
If people like my songs, that's off-putting to me.
They're introverted.
I want them to hate it.
Don't know Nate at all. He striked me as someone that was like the introvert that like didn't want all the crap that went along with being in a band, but likes making music.
Yep.
Yeah, I could see
I could
that.
be totally wrong.
Well,
No,
dude,
and you got to do all that crap to make the
my
money
hatred
to make it a
for
living.
what does he say? My hatred for corporate magazines. The irony is they don't even want to talk to me.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
That's
I mean, you got to be. He's admitting that like he hates them, and also they don't want to talk to him. Like I think he wants that.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Sweet if they wanted me. And
So I'm
tell
gonna
them no.
hedge on the side of saying he was probably introverted and aloof, and therefore people thought he was a dick.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not really the case at all. I mean, I don't know at all. The closest thing I know is like the longest I've ever seen him talk is like on Jim Adkins' podcast thing, and he seemed like a delightful conversation.
A righteous hang.
Sings like an
seemed like a
angel.
great hang. So, and he sings fantastic. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, you take this hour and talk about you, Nate. Sounds like you got your heart broken. You deserve the hour.
I mean, Jim's from Arizona. Maybe if you're not from Arizona, he just doesn't treat you the same.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's not it.
The other thing that stands out to me is like the clip that you played, the drum rolls.
Yeah.
I just cannot help but picture a high school drummer in like just perfect form.
Well, but now you've got a picture of the drummer from Blue Oyster Cult and Will Ferrell in the background with a cowbell.
That image has been ruined.
Quite a plot twist.
Yeah.
It's quite a thing. I mean, I think that it's such a good second intro to the record to be like, let's take this hour and talk about me. And like, I think
That's pretty
kind of
epic.
genius.
Oh yeah.
No, I love
And
it.
it's like kind of tongue in cheek, and I love it. And so I'm here for it. Any other thoughts on track 2?
Nope.
Then let's go to track 3, which is Time Bomb. I feel like the first thing I want to say is that this song has so much ELO, Electric Light Orchestra vibes.
Yep.
Which, I mean, we mentioned the 70s, but like, talk a 70s band specifically that this sounds like.
Oozing.
It's oozing it. And I'm fine with that because someone should have ripped off ELO at this point because it's a great freaking band and Jeff Lynne's a genius. Kyle, what are your thoughts on it?
I also think I remember, I don't know if it was an interview or that I read or that I saw, but I think they were talking about, they were super into Harry Nilsson.
Oh, yeah.
And like
sure.
that,
Yes.
that
musician,
definitely
musician.
shows.
Yes.
Especially concept album.
Yes.
Talking about sounds like a concept album. I mean, that dude did The Point, and it kind of reminds me of that, kind of grand.
Yeah.
But this song kills, dude.
Yeah.
It is such an earworm. I love the variation, the pause on the tick-tock the second time around. It's so fun to watch because like this is a song you sing along to.
Oh, yeah.
I did the kid test that we've talked about.
Oh, yeah.
My kids approve. They
Cool.
love it.
I should have done the kid test.
And
for
it's
this
That's a good
great
kid test song.
because like on this one, they always screw up on the second TikTok with the pause, and it's just I mean it's frustrating and awesome. It's a great song, and like this to me, it's weird to me that the format was never bigger than they were.
I agree.
Because
I'm glad
like,
fun was.
This is totally. I'm glad they had
they
their day in the
clearly
sun,
had-
right? But like this is a great song.
Yeah.
Yes. And I thought they had multiple songs on their first record that could have been bigger singles. I think they're a classic example of the label not quite knowing what to do with a band and trying to. What sucks about like this time a little bit is I feel like, and this is always the case with music, but I feel like with the sort of emo scene, first of all, it's funny that we talk about this all the time, but like no one called themselves an emo band back then.
Right.
No
Oh,
one
no,
self-identified
it's
as
like
emo.
sacrilegious.
No one.
Yeah.
But labels and other people were trying to like pigeonhole people into these genres and stuff. And what I at least noticed for the most part is that people just were really into any music that was put in front of them that was good.
Right.
Now it happened to be that what was getting thrown in front of them was a lot of the same kind of stuff over and over again. But then you'd see a band like Limbeck on tour with a band. Of course, like that's the first time I saw Format was the first time I saw Limbeck too. They were both supporting Rocket Summer, so I saw them for the first time the same night.
That's
and it was incredible, right?
I saw them.
But like,
Rocket Summer's headlining?
Yes,
Weird.
because Rocket Summer was bigger at the time. Limbeck, it was early November. Limbeck, the Format with just Nate and Sam.
Yep.
So just acoustic and then they all came up and played. Whatever the first single
because we had the same experience because like I saw him at Rocket Town, saw the same tour.
Yeah.
And he would do the same thing every night. He'd be like, I've got this cup of pretzels. If anybody wants some pretzels, just come up and grab some.
Yes.
And
pre-COVID.
Community pretzels.
And then they all got up and played the first single together. So it was like, like Bryce.
The song, the first single.
Yeah. And it was great. Like someone's on tambourine. I mean, it was fantastic. But, there's not really a lot of overlap between Limbeck and Rocket Summer.
Right.
Right?
Right, but
the show totally worked.
Perfect.
Limbeck in the Format, for sure.
Yeah.
But my point is, I think that the Format was probably a little bit weird in the sense that they didn't quite fit the like emo eyeliner haircut scene because he even makes fun of that kind of thing in lyrics on this song.
But you're 100% right. Like when I heard that first record, it was just like, this is good. I want it in my life.
It's good.
I don't need to label it.
Right. And so
I got a tuba.
I think that labels did a bad job of
It's not a tuba.
Labels did a bad job of when they didn't exactly know what to do with someone, they just kind of went, I think sometimes they just go, and they just didn't do anything. Yeah. And so I think that the Format is one of those bands that got screwed by a label that didn't know what to do with them. And because there's no reason, these songs are great.
Yeah.
He's a great singer. We see future success. Jack Antonoff, I mean, Jack's not in this band, obviously, but like the fact that they go on, I mean, no one thought Steel Train, I'm sure, was a great band either. But
you can hear it now, though.
Right.
Jack's the biggest producer in the world now.
Yep.
Yeah, he
so
really is.
he's literally one of the
Taylor Swift.
World renowned. He's one of the best producers in the world right now.
Yep.
And he was in a band that again the first Fun record didn't do that well.
Right.
Yep.
And so I think it's just interesting that you can have such great music and yet I'm sure it's frustrating that they felt like they didn't get to go as far as they could have. And we saw them, when we saw that Reject show with them, that was like a few months before they broke up, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they were.
It was not that long. They were, which was cool. It was a full band. It was fun to see them like that. But I mean,
they were first on that tour, right?
No, it was Gym Class Heroes first, which is crazy too
right.
because he's huge too.
It was a four band set, right? It was
Gym Class Heroes,
then Format, then Starting Line, then Rejects.
I would be interested to know.
That was a good show.
I know we're off on a tangent.
That's
but
okay.
I would be interested to know what sales did with this record. Like, were they bigger after Fun's success?
I don't know that enough people knew that because Fun was so big and so new to a bigger, broader audience. Because this is 2010 or whatever by the time Fun comes out, right?
Yeah,
2000,
half a decade later.
It was 2000.
I say 10 or 11.
2009 is when it came out. I'm pretty sure the first one came out.
Okay, yeah. The second one's
because I remember hearing it for the first time. I was in a shop in Breckenridge, Colorado, and I was like, "This is Nate from Format," but the Format's not a band anymore. And I Shazammed it, and I was like, and I bought it in the store on iTunes. I literally bought it right then. I was like, "This is amazing." Nate has a new band. I'm going to buy it because it was that All the Pretty Girls song, and I was like, "This song is phenomenal." Again, very Jeff Lynne, and
yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, and so anyway, so I think that you're right, Kyle. This song is worth this record being more popular than it was.
So good.
Are you finding sales data while Chris talks about the song?
I'm actually looking at the release just so we know.
Okay.
Timeline wise.
Chris, do you have any thoughts on track 2, Time Bomb?
That piano riff is magic.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun. And the pre-chorus, the stop before the second chorus, I just felt like I had to mention it.
Starting now, starting over. Yeah, that's a great.
It's those little moments only happen when you're in the studio at 12 because you have to try things and fail and then be like, this is something interesting we could do, and then it works.
And I don't.
Yeah.
Go
also,
ahead.
so this is super important. My childhood dentist did cocaine with Harry Nilsson.
What?
Yeah.
when did this get brought up?
Well, I put it together as an older person.
I thought you were like 8 years old, and he was like,
he's like, no, I used to hang out with Harry Nilsson. And he'd like look up and to the right, and I was like, why is he always drifting off mentally when he talks about hanging out with Harry Nilsson? It's cocaine. Surely.
It's cocaine.
Yeah. And good for him.
Yeah.
I thought you were like 8 years old in the chair, and he's like, buddy, Chris, guess what? I did cocaine with Harry Nilsson. That picture on the wall right there.
My dentist had a ponytail. Like, he was badass.
Okay.
The cool ponytail.
Nice.
Yeah.
My dentist always played the like cheesy, like 1920s and 30s, like easy, like Mr. Sandman kind of stuff. And
that's horrifying.
It was, but he was like a friend of the family, and like all the hygienists and us were like, every time he came in, we were kind of like, this is the lamest put me to sleep music ever. My guy was not doing cocaine with anyone. I'm pretty sure.
No, dude, my dentist, when you went out, he had
puffing that nitrous.
Yeah, just like Tim Watley.
The room that we had dental surgery, like there's all kinds of plants, and it was really dimly lit. I'm not sure you could even see to do my root canal.
Yeah,
I didn't
not
do it
okay.
right.
My last thought on Time Bomb is just we kind of talked about it, but I'm sorry that Nate went through this breakup, but we got
thank you.
Some of the best breakup
Silver
lyrics
linings.
on this record, so I'm into it. And this is a great, fun breakup song.
Yeah.
It's a happy breakup song, and I like it. Again, if you did not understand English, you would not know this was a sad or an upset song, or you got broken up in anyway. All right, let's go to track 4, which is She Doesn't Get It.
Cat, 4 books look across your sofa. I thought your coffee table was more clever than that. It gets worse once we get to her room. She stops and she sings do 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 do. I claim new religion's my song. She doesn't get it. It's all before she was born. And you lock your door like I've been here before. I feel like I've seen a ghost. She says she's leaving on a Sunday. Oh, that leaves me wanting.
That's one of the best hooks in a second verse ever.
Yep.
Right? The
Yep.
do do do. I mean, I love that line so much. Chris, what are your thoughts on it?
Absolutely. I actually don't have a note about that, so I'm really glad that you. Was I in a bad mood when I wrote these notes? I put chorus a little wordy for me. Jeez, like I do not agree with who wrote this note, and it was me. This is my phone.
You were in a bad mood.
I guess so. But yes, I said that there's so much candy in this song. That little moment, the chimes, the percussion. It's just like layered with all kinds of stuff. I love it. And catchy as heck. Great song.
This is one that's been in my rotation on playlist. I mean, constantly since it came out. There is probably not a month that goes by that this song does not get listened to. Whether it's the whole album or it's on a playlist or something. And that second verse is like a perfect second verse. I don't know if we've ever said a verse was perfect on this podcast before, but that is a fantastic second verse, and I love it. Kyle?
I don't really have anything to add. I mean, it's awesome. That second verse, killer. I think the chorus is great. What are we? 5 songs in? 4 songs in?
Track 4.
I mean, I think that every single song has been great. Pretty impressive.
I love I love the drums on this record. I like the 16th note kind of driving thing with the syncopated stuff. That it's just fun.
I think another thing. At this time, when I was younger, I was really starting to get into big production.
Yeah.
And like, this is big in a different way. Like, there is a ton going on. It's huge, but it's not like stacked guitars.
Right.
And drum samples. And you know what I mean? Like, it's just.
And there are imperfections.
Yes.
It's not overproduced.
There you
Yeah,
go.
it's not wall of sound huge. It's just elaborate.
Yes.
Maybe that's
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the better way to describe it. Elaborate. And what I like about it is that, here's what's funny. A first impression I didn't talk about in first impressions, I guess I should now, is that I remember talking to you or someone in the van about how what I didn't like about this record was that I thought his vocals sounded a little thinner than they should for how great his voice is.
Yep.
I thought it sounded like, they could have picked a different mic or something. I just felt like it was like, but I think what I didn't understand at the time is, which is silly because all I grew up on was like classic rock, but I didn't catch the 70s thing immediately.
Yeah.
And so I was comparing it to everything that was coming out then, which was like Did Infinity on High come out the same year? I think it did, right?
Right.
Or maybe the year before.
Vocal right here.
Well, and the guitar, I mean, everything's like punching you in the chest and like,
feel me.
It was about getting like the perfect snare sound and the perfect, and they were like, and really, and like, I like that kind of overproduction too sometimes. I don't like it when it's so perfect that it loses all the human element of it. I never like that on a record. But what I like about this one, and I didn't get at the time, was that it's not overproduced for sure. They're not trying to get the perfect take on everything. They're trying to get like the right sound and the right performance. But the imperfections are what make it feel so good. And that's what made 70s music feel great too, is that half of it's not even like they're tuning to the piano. They're not even using like tuners.
Everything's happening in that moment.
Like it's between keys, it's live, there might be a click track. Yeah. Most of the click tracks back then were someone like recording this.
Right. Yeah.
And then doing it like and playing to someone tapping out for 4 minutes. And like and that's why I think this album holds up better, is because it has like, it breathes.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, that's just like, to go to your point of like, there's a lot going on.
Well, and I think I didn't appreciate it as much then.
I didn't either.
Because we were entering this digital era of like huge records.
Huge and perfect.
And I agree. Like, I don't want to totally remove the human element, but I remember my mind being blown at like John Feldman produced records and like just huge sounding.
All the Neil Avron stuff.
Yes.
The
they
Yellow
were bringing
Card.
Something new to the table. Like there hadn't been, that's the other thing about music. You do something interesting and different, and that's the best. Because now everybody's like, oh, that plugged into the board sound. But it was kind of original at the time.
Well, and for rock music, it was brand new because like if you listen to the rock music that came before that, I'm not going to go, I'm not.
Oh, here it goes.
I'm not going to go punk, but like,
no, I thought you were going Creed or Nickelback.
Like listen to 16 Stone.
Break.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, but that's grunge. It's straight grunge.
But still, like you listen to grunge now.
16 Stone.
It's that's a huge record, and it's not big.
No.
And like, I think if I could go back in time, I would be very tempted to make that record big.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's fine the way it is.
Well, all the labels were going really safe with the first records, though, with those bands. They invested a lot of money in those guys.
Yeah, they had to.
Bush, Nirvana, both those bands, when they got to do a sophomore record, they went this route, playing like live in the studio, like not tracking it. Like that's In Utero was just like those guys were all in a room just playing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I mean, and there's also just trends and stuff. And right now we were in a trend of really like heavily produced, like everything individually done, perfect, stacked guitars, stacked vocals, sampled drums a lot of times, or replaced
trends
drums
and availability, right? Like because all of us, every single one of us recorded a demo at one point in time that we thought was the bomb, and then like technology advanced and we were like, son of a bitch.
Well, and we were in the mastering wars too, where everyone was over like trying to, like the loudness wars of like everyone was trying to be the loudest record, and they didn't do this on this record. This record's a little quieter than other ones, so they didn't overproduce it, they didn't overcompress it, they didn't over master it. But what's weird is that my ears at the time thought it sounded not bad.
I completely agree.
Bad wasn't the right thing.
I completely agree.
Yeah. It was the contrast with what
I didn't
so
appreciate.
popular.
I couldn't appreciate it in the context of all those other records.
But what sucks is that I think it kind of hindered their success because of their creative decisions. I'm not saying they should have made another decision, because I think it holds up better than some of the other records that came out in 2006, as far as like, it sounds like it could have been made in 78 or 2006 or this year. I mean, that's the thing about this record, is that it really doesn't have any of the signatures of 2006 on it. None of them.
Yeah.
But that was weird in 2006 and probably contributed to it not being as successful of a record and
timeless now.
Yeah, but it makes it work better long term. So it's one of those like, what do you want? Do you want the success right now? Do you want the adoration of fewer people? But
they did the opposite of what almost everybody else did, right? Like they didn't turn it up.
And it's clear that was a creative decision that I think was the right decision. But I remember even questioning it at the time as a musician and a guy into production. and into 70s music too. I mean, like I'm a huge Billy Joel fan.
Yeah.
Chris is a huge Elton John fan, and like
no, I didn't pick.
We
up
didn't
on
pick it
time.
up in 2006 immediately. Now, the ELO thing I did pick up. I was like, okay, yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, but you should have just heard the drums, like that kind of hydraulic oil tom sound.
But you mentioned the first single, right?
Yeah,
and it's like that is unique, but it is way clearer and more perfect
and punchy
than this.
Yeah.
But I just didn't appreciate it as much at the time. Like I listen to it now and like it sounds amazing to me.
Yeah, and it what's funny is that the ELO comparison, Jeff Lynne is a famous like overproducer. He's kind of one of the first ones that did the like.
He's the godfather of overproduction.
Well, I mean, I don't want to say overproduction, but like super clean. Like he would record the hat separately from the snare, from the kick.
Okay.
So it'd be totally isolated. It'd be perfect. Like he did the big Tom Petty records too and stuff, like the stacked vocals, they'd record like 3 acoustic guitars with mics together. So it was like, they were still on tape and stuff, but it was like very perfect production. And what's funny is that this sounds like ELO without the perfect production.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I like because like Jeff Lynne's also just a fantastic songwriter. So anyway, if you like this record and you've not listened to Electric Light Orchestra or ELO, you must. You go back in time because it's one worth checking out. Okay, let's go to track 5, which is Pick Me Up. See, I messed up again. I muted my mic. I'll eventually get this thing correct. Chris, thoughts on Pick Me Up?
Only got a taste of that chorus.
I know.
Well, how you did the right thing.
I wanted some dynamics.
You did good.
It was hard to find clips on this one. It was.
That the way the chorus resolves is just, it's so, as my the oldest is really into saying satisfying. It's so satisfying.
So satisfying.
And that's how I felt too. That chorus it melts in your ears. It's good.
Yeah, I think that's a weird, like, diminished chord or something.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, where you, like, I know
the
how
harmonies.
to do it. I can feel it with my, it's the pinky. You gotta work the pinky.
The vocals are doing
Pinky's
it too.
important on that chord.
I should have figured out that chord because that is it's a good chord, and the vocals the harmonies are making the chord too. Yeah. It is it's a good one. Kyle, what are your thoughts on it?
I love it. This is like a perfect shower chorus. You know. Like I'm wailing in the shower to this one, like, and my family's like, "What is happening?"
And they walk in, and you're like, "Oh,
hurt you." I won't pick you up. But I also love. I don't know if it's the second guitar part, but the underneath on the chorus, just driving through.
I noticed it a lot more with these headphones, right?
Oh, this is. We've not talked about that. You have to listen to this album in headphones.
Yeah.
You have to listen to this album in headphones. It is. You're like, same thing. I every time we do this, most of the time when I listen to music, it's in my car or at my desk, but through my speakers. I really don't throw headphones on a ton.
Yeah.
But every time we're doing one of these things, I try to listen to at least it one time in headphones.
That's smart.
And I catch stuff every time on albums that I've listened to for 20 years that even back then when I was listening to it in headphones, we were driving or something, and maybe I just wasn't in like a quiet headphone situation. And that guitar part you'll pick up on. There's all sorts of little candy in these songs that you can't hear if you're not doing headphones. Kyle, were you still saying something?
Yeah, I mean it's great. Also, this is one of those songs that I put in the category, at least the chorus, of I can drum this song. And that does not make me like it less. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, I can rock that.
It is good.
And the bass is excellent.
This is kind of just like a good rock song.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a good, like,
it's a vibe.
Alt rock kind of, but still feels like that's kind of 70s vibe and stuff. I like it. It's a good chorus. Yeah. Trying to pick, these songs are so, like theatrical and dramatic sometimes that like, you're like, well, if I just pick that one clip,
Oh no!
It's
right.
almost like there's a whole different song happening before that. Or I just love the bridge on this that like the slow down and like coming back in with the drums and everything. It's got a nice little feel. It's cool to have a bridge that actually like really drops down like that. So
the perfect example is that song with that little ear candy thing in the second verse that we talked about. Yeah. Like that's just like one quick moment. Like,
but it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Hard to pick clips for this one is what he's saying. His job was
really
difficult.
is. My job was difficult for this one. Let's go to track, what are we at? Track 6,
Title
right?
track.
Dog Problems, title track. Here we go. Talk about one it's hard to find a clip on. Here we go.
I am a man holding it all. I couldn't breathe, coming across. I didn't know I couldn't get He is for believing you, always be here for me. He is for everything, even when we see it through. C is for seeing through you. You are a fake, which brings me to A. Because you always run away. I never finish phrasing.
Oh, this song is phenomenal.
It's insane that human beings that were born in the 80s wrote this song.
It's
crazy.
It's madness. Who wants to go first? I'm almost speechless. I love this song so much.
George Gershwin-inspired number that would get people dancing during the Prohibition, but also the bridge is the most beautiful ballad you've ever heard with a swear word and 1,000 Nates and a Sesame Street ending.
Dude,
that's it.
I was going. What's the Muppet Award that I gave Bayside? I was going to get this. This gets the Muppet Award.
What did we call it?
Was it the Kermit Award? No, I don't think it was.
What was it?
But it's this.
The Kermie?
The Kermie.
Yeah.
The Kermie. The Kermie is back, everyone.
The Kermie.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Like I could picture Fozzie and Kermit.
Okay, they should do
this.
I've got an even better idea. It's a Broadway musical with the Muppets.
There you have it.
They'd make a gajillion dollars, I think, maybe.
Yep.
Okay, you got to read that one more time, Chris, because it really, that was kind of like so perfect.
Okay. Gershwin-inspired number that would get people dancing during the Prohibition, but also the bridge is the most beautiful ballad you've ever heard with a cool swear word and 1,000 Nates. Oh, and a Sesame Street ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enough said.
I would almost say that's enough, but I mean, I can't not talk about this song because it's so good.
Well,
Kyle, what do you have?
I'm not going to top that. I was just going to give it the Kermie. It's just freaking awesome. Like truly, I was going to say I just picture Fozzie Bear and Kermit dancing to that part. Like
I can see Fozzie dancing right now with like a little cane. Yeah.
And I can see why if you're a label, you go, what the hell is going on?
I mean, it's
if
good,
they play
guys,
this song.
Are teenage girls gonna buy it?
Dude, what the hell is going on? My Pussycat, my Tangerine.
Yeah.
Like
what? And boys in swooping haircuts.
What does he say? My Pussycat, my trampoline. Sorry, you were my Tangerine, my Pussycat, my trampoline.
The like and I love the dog problem is that the couple had a dog together and then broke up and he signed the lease and all this stuff.
That.
Yeah, and he's like, but like this is such a practical breakup song. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it's really more about wild. the minutia of like the practical stuff that happens when you break up.
Yeah,
it's a perfect song. I think that they should be more famous than they were because this song is incredible. There's full orchestration with tuba and time signature changes and like slowing down and speeding up and that little swell into that B is for believing of that trumpet. It is like I could have played the whole thing and really honestly you should just stop the podcast, go listen to the whole song. And
Can
then
you
come back
imagine? Did they release this on Doghouse or what?
This ends up being on like a little label, the Vanity label.
Is
what it ends up being.
Can you imagine showing this to the label for the first time? In particular, that part, just sitting in the room and watching someone's face as they experience it for the first time. Because like I don't know that I could I love it now. I don't know that I could process it in real time.
I think I would be. I would be
like, I got to take this home, guys.
Here's the thing.
I'm gonna need a minute.
I think you did great, but I'm really I have a lot of feelings right now.
But I think I'd be smiling from ear to ear the whole time,
totally.
Right?
Yeah.
I think this is one of those songs that you play and you laugh at, but you laugh at because it's like that happens when you're playing too.
It's nuts.
You play the perfect thing and you're like, that's it.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the burst out laughter is the sign that that's the thing we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like on this track. And they just did that over and over again on this. They were like, should we put a tuba in it at the end that goes ba-bom?
It never stops working. Like you keep adding elements and they're perfect.
I think it's a perfect song. I mean, they really, it really is the kind of shedding of, you can tell they get more and more comfortable with like, we're going to do whatever we want in fun too. They just kind of said like, we're going to make great music.
We don't give a flip.
And we're going to do whatever the song calls for.
Yep.
Like if that's like stacked vocals, great. If it's an acoustic guitar and nothing else, fine. Like they kind of just do whatever the song, whatever fits.
That's a
they
really
kind
good
of do
observation. Instead of the band having a shtick, it's like, nope, this song needs a tuba.
Right.
And no other song needs a tuba.
Right. Yeah. We're not going to tour with a, like.
Right. We're not a tuba band.
We don't have to fit it in every time.
This one song needs a tuba. It's very important.
But they had guys playing like sax and stuff at that show. We saw them with the Rejects, and it was awesome. They went for it. They had like 10 people on stage or something. Maybe it wasn't that many, but it felt like it was at least 8.
Yeah.
People on stage. And they did it. It was cool. And I was glad I got to see them do a full band thing before they broke up, because getting to see this was, I'm pretty sure they played this at that show. I'd have to look back at my
I haven't seen
list.
them full band.
That was the only time I got to see him full band. I've seen Fun a few times, but I got to see him just like the acoustic thing and then full band with the Rejects, and that was it. So, okay, let's go to track 7, Oceans.
Why don't I just give in, have a drink and shake some hands, oh hey oh, oh hey oh. I didn't thought to leave me for some time. Maybe it's time I put a profile up of who I wanna be for everyone. I can start over clean, I can hide behind a big blue screen. You can return to me, oh, now I hope that you're happy.
Kyle, thoughts?
So on this one, I enjoy the verses more than I enjoy the chorus.
I think that's fair. The verses are great.
I was just reading through the lyrics as it was going on, and I think I've always thought this was about a label. I'm pretty sure it's just about anxiety around people. But like I thought he was talking about the like, why don't I just give in and shake some hands?
Yeah.
I assumed he was talking label people, but yeah. I mean,
Have a drink and shake some hands.
Here's the thing. Really good song. How do you follow the song that came before this?
But it's it's just kind of like a simple rock and roll
It's
song, so it feels like the
transition.
right thing to do here.
Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying it's not a good song. It's just it followed a moment.
Oh, for sure. No, yeah, you're right. You got to put something there.
Yeah.
And you could, like, you either have to go, I like to go in this route though, because it's like it's a simpler song.
Yep,
It's
I
more
agree.
like guitar, bass, drums.
Yep.
Yeah.
You could go all the way like simple acoustic, but like put snails after it or something.
Yeah.
But like that almost feels like too.
No,
like,
this is the right move.
I think my favorite thing about this song is that on the verse, that secondary vocal that's like a little lazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy that.
I also love the bridge on this with that bass, boom, 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 boom. With the line
Good
you're
mouth
talking
bass.
about there, yeah. Good mouth bass, yeah. Good mouth bass. Chris, what are your thoughts on Oceans?
You guys already nailed it. I just want to say I really like the line, wish I was an ocean, maybe then I'd see you again. Which made me think it was about a breakup and a girl who wanted to be in California.
Well, I'm guessing that's the case because he talks about California a couple times on the record
mentions
too,
it.
and it makes me think that, I don't know, maybe they moved there or didn't move there. Or
Further
we're talking about
proof,
it.
we've got to make the California playlist.
Oh, you could make a long California playlist. That one's easy.
People
Right.
like it there. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Making
It's fine.
making an Oklahoma playlist is more challenging.
Yeah,
But
you're
there's
right.
some good ones.
John Moreland.
Well, yeah, that's
Really
you
great
can do
song
it
about
all with him.
Oklahoma.
But here's the thing.
That should have been the Oklahoma anthem.
But I have like a playlist
Lips.
rule where if I'm making a themed playlist,
Yeah.
you can only have an artist repeat on it once.
Oh, so if you got someone like Moreland who's always singing,
You
about
can only pick
Oklahoma,
one
you gotta
Oklahoma.
pick one.
That's
Okay.
just more of a personal rule if I'm making a thematic playlist. I don't know that that's like something everyone needs to follow, but that's just my kind of thing.
Like, all right, the boss. Wait. Does the boss get to be on a playlist twice since he sings about Jersey and Philadelphia?
Well, I
Two
guess
separate
That'd be suits. Well, yeah, if you're making a Jersey specific playlist or a California specific playlist, but like
oh, I see. He
or a streets playlist.
But I do have like a states playlist, and that one's more broad. You can be in multiple. You can be in multiple ones. It's all Limbeck because they sing about states a lot.
They have a lot of the Beehive State. That's Utah, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Beehive State. Ding. I need one of those.
It's just weird because I think of Utah. I think
need
it's
a ding on here. I'm playing clips, so I need to have like.
I don't know about everybody else ever in the world, but when I think of Utah, I just think of Mormons, not bees.
Not bees. No, not
Mormons and Napoleon Dynamite, but also
wait, that's
Mormon.
Idaho. Dynamite's Idaho.
Is it? I haven't seen it in long enough that I don't remember. We're gonna have to fact check during the next clip.
Those states touch each
I'm
other.
shook, Chris.
Close.
Okay, we'll go to track 8, Dead End, and you all can look up where Napoleon Dynamite is supposed to take place. Here we go. Kyle figured out who I didn't put a fade on that. I'm sorry.
He had important things to say.
Yeah, we're both right.
Yeah.
So it was filmed in Preston, Idaho, but John Heder is a Mormon. So
that settles it.
Utah.
Yeah.
Because all Mormons are from Utah.
All of them.
So can I talk about the song?
Of course you can talk about the song. Yeah. That's the reason we have this podcast. Yeah, please go first.
Song's not about you. This is not a podcast about Utah.
Yeah, and this song is not about Napoleon Dynamite. But this song, what we've talked about how, Blake, you made the point that they're kind of like making the songs or adding what's appropriate, right? Like it's not like they're trying, or maybe Chris was saying like they're not trying to be this kind of band that has, and like this song sounds distinctly different. I think it kind of sounds like a Billy Joel, An Innocent Man era kind of cut. Like those horns are totally different than the horns that came
for sure
previously on this record. So
they're more like a traditional like 3-piece horn section in a band like Earth, Wind and Fire or something.
It sounds like what you would cut to, and Phil Schaefer is playing in Letterman with the band. Do you know what I mean? Like those kind of
Paul
horns.
Schaefer.
Phil Schaefer.
Phil Schaefer. I was like, that's not right. But
Philip Schaefer.
The third.
I am so sorry, Paul.
It's okay, Paul.
I am so sorry, Paul. Big fan.
Hey, side note, totally unrelated. Do y'all watch the Bill Murray Christmas special on Netflix that has, and Paul Schaefer is doing all the music on it?
No.
It's wonderful.
The
and y'all
newer
should
one,
watch
right?
it. Yeah, it's only a few years old.
I definitely watched it.
It's
but
one
I
of
can't
my,
recall a
it's
lot
like
of it.
I watch it every year. It's great. Y'all should watch it. Anyway, go on.
No, I mean, it's great. It's a great song. It's another one that's just like, every one of these songs could be in the background of a movie and like carrying the scene. You know what I mean?
Yes. Like,
and so it's just another song that I'm just shocked that this band was not bigger, because they have all the ingredients minus the difference in members. They have all the ingredients that made Fun awesome.
yeah.
Well, and the fact that Fun got famous is a clear indication that those elements were obviously there.
yes.
It just had to be tweaked
Yeah.
just right. Or
Right
maybe
time,
it was
right
just
place.
the timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I also
Maybe
wonder.
format 5 years later would have hit it.
Yeah, I do wonder about that. I mean, they definitely went with more of like they went with a pop production
Fun.
on that second Fun record.
Yes. Yeah.
And of course that was just maybe
But still
like,
loose.
No,
Still have
for
that
sure.
loose feel.
For sure.
But early Steel Train had similar elements to this, right? Very
Yeah, it was more straight kind of rock and
70s,
roll
but
kind
like,
of, yeah.
Yeah, like Jack obviously very influenced by Springsteen and that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, like without a doubt. So I mean, yeah, it's just a good. You're right. It's another great song. I put that like, of course you have to fade this song out because how else could you possibly end it? You just want to keep singing that chorus over and over and over again. So yeah, you got to do a fade out. There's no way you could possibly end this song. Chris, what are your thoughts on it?
So most of my notes on this song are about the lyrics, because you kind of start to feel like maybe this person in his life had a narcissistic kind of vibe going. I really like the line, "Our love will last till we die. I say you're good at this game, but what I really wrote, how I've yet to be saved." Just kind of like playing into her.
Yeah.
You know, and let's see, what was the other lyric I really liked?
I'm here for the breakup
Yeah,
lyrics.
love it when you talk so much and act like nothing went wrong. Yeah, that's another thing. Like when if you've anybody's been in a relationship with somebody like that where they're talking about, you're like, are you remembering the same relationship that we were both in? Because that doesn't strike me as very familiar. So yeah, I get it, Nate. I feel you, buddy.
It's a good one.
Yeah. It's called Dead End.
It's called Dead
obviously.
End. Yeah,
It's an indication of a breakup, dude.
If you want to know how Nate feels about the breakup,
Not much mystery.
but again, if you didn't know English, you would think this is a happy-go-lucky, fun.
Unicorn.
I almost said horny, but I
Horny.
mean, I mean it in
Getting
the
horny
horn
now.
way.
EY.
But yeah, every band we're bringing up, Billy Joel, Earth, Wind and Fire, all these like no band in the 2000s had a horn section.
and no band was saying,
Rockin'.
I want to sound like Billy Joel,
Right.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Well, yeah, we had sworn off horns because the 80s,
I know.
the 80s kind of did. The
They kind of
saxophone
did,
dirty.
and but like I was so happy in the 20 teens when sax solos came back because I was like, yeah, why did we stop doing this? These are awesome.
You and Kenny G, both.
Right? Yeah, Kenny G was very happy
He was
to
very
have
happy
some
when that
work
happened.
again. And
Kenneth Bruce Gorlick is his real name.
No kidding.
That
Gorlick?
I'd go by G
I'd go
too.
by Kenny G too.
Gorlick.
My
Yeah.
dad played that album so much. Breathless?
I don't. Oh yeah, dude. Kenny G. Kenny G is. You know what I like about Kenny G is that he seems to have a sense of humor
no.
about what
yeah.
he is.
But there's some
And-
movie that he's in where.
Well, he was in like the Katy Perry video
That's it,
doing
that's
the
it.
sax
Yeah.
solo and like
My favorite thing is about
Unironic.
Kenny G fans is like it's always the same story. Yeah, Kenny G's pretty cool. Yeah, he's cool. He can like circular breathe
Oh, that's
and just blow his sax for like 40 minutes. I'm like, oh,
Are the ladies interested in this for like oral sex reasons?
well, my thing is like,
like you don't have to come up for air. Like
also,
what's the attraction?
Who cares that he can blow on a saxophone for 40 minutes?
Yeah.
Like like that's a record that I'm actually not impressed with.
I mean, it is a cool thing to be able to do.
I mean, he did it. He earns
He's got the world
prize,
record.
but like, who cares?
It doesn't come in that handy when you're just like playing a performance.
That's
right?
what it is. It's a
It's a trick.
it's a what's it? A parlor trick.
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah.
Yes.
And this isn't a circus, Kenneth.
No, Bruce Gorlick.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know
Curly
what?
haired.
He also is like a pretty early owner of Starbucks, so I think he makes money no
Oh.
matter whether he's doing. He was like friends with Howard Schultz. He's the one that invented the Frappuccino. Not invented it, but he noticed other places were doing things like that, and he was like,
Wait,
Howard,
wait.
you need to do."
What?
Yes, I promise you.
No.
Look it up. I promise you. It was him. He was the one that told Howard to like, you need some sort of frozen sugary drink like this.
So I'm
they-
sure everybody that works at Starbucks like wants
Hates
to murder
Kenny
Kenny
G.
G.
Gorlick does not like Kenny G. We are all on the tangents today, but it's true. I promise. Look it up. It really is a
That's
thing
what-
that he inspired them to put it on the menu
That's
because
what
he was
makes
an
us
early
What a
investor.
guy!
We're not boring.
That
It's
is
those
worth
facts.
knowing.
Yeah.
That's worth knowing. I don't care that he can blow the sax for 40 minutes.
Right? Yeah, the Frappuccino though, that's delicious.
that's great.
I don't often get one because it's just like
There's a lot of shit.
Pure sugar.
I love sugar. Even of that is too much for me. I'm like, no, I can't right now.
I don't want those Starbucks people to hate me.
I'd rather have a milkshake.
It's that, and
know
also
they get
like
mad.
when you're in line, it's like
Oh no,
a tangent. I'm just gonna go further, but like
just do Frappuccino.
when you're watching the person in front of you and they hand out the drink that's just foam, caramel, sprinkles, I'm just like, that is an adult. An adult is drinking that. Like, I
Yeah,
can't
but
believe
we're all
that.
addicted to sugar.
Yeah,
I
you're
drink
right.
a sweet tea lemonade. What's the difference? Except I'm not pretending there's not sugar in mine. I guess, right?
There's a huge
Well,
difference.
there's a
That's the
huge difference.
difference?
Here's the difference. Yours takes a pour and a stir.
Yeah.
Right? Like
I don't even think they do that. I shake it.
they're-
there you
they're
go.
blending,
the Frappuccino. It's the
whipping,
decadence. It's like
yeah.
just in your face.
But here's
working
my
class
opinion.
people.
Here's my opinion. You know what my opinion is? Don't put it on the menu
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
you
you're right.
don't want to make it.
See?
No,
Secret
no,
menus,
but that's
Blake.
it's the cigar smoking tycoons at the top of the chain that want it on the menu because it makes the money.
Because it makes money.
Right.
But
I'm
so
talking
don't
about the
complain.
people
You've
that
got
have
a
to make
job
Blake,
with
it's-
benefits
Blake,
because you
it's-
make frappuccinos. Like,
I'm
do
just
it.
saying I
It's
don't want
the
them to have
shadow
to make
government.
one for me. I don't want them to have to make one for me. That's
Is
all
this
I'm
a DOD psyop too? Just like
Yeah.
Taylor Swift at the Swift at the Super Bowl?
Maybe.
This is going to come out after the Super Bowl. We're
I'm
talking
with
too much
you,
about
Chris.
Taylor Swift.
I can't put that on someone else.
That's all I'm saying.
I can't do it.
Maybe the
I
person
will.
after me or before me, I'm just not going to contribute.
I would let you order one for me
Here's the difference.
if I wasn't in sight.
I will give you this.
I
At
ordered
Chipotle, I will not order a quesadilla, which is a secret menu thing,
Same.
unless there's not a line behind
Same.
me. But the Frappuccino's on the menu. It's up there.
Right.
Okay, you know
Weird.
what? That's a great point.
That's my point.
I get what you're saying.
That's my point.
I'm just saying I'm not going to order it.
That's
Same.
fine.
Yeah.
That's
Never.
fine. I'm just saying
I would never.
you can be kind, but if a worker complained about it, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, everyone has parts about their job they don't like. It's not that hard that you have to make a Frappuccino.
I think it is
Right?
though. They have to like use like 2 blenders.
All right,
and
we're
wash all
gonna
the-
get. Elise used to.
We got to get a Starbucks person.
My
in
wife worked at Starbucks
Oh,
for a
yeah.
long time. I will ask
bring
her
her on
if
the
she
show.
hated it. We'll bring her on.
here. Yeah,
sometime.
but yeah, I feel like your wife is like different in that way. Like I feel like she likes to make things and serve people. So she's probably like, oh, it's fun.
because
You're
she
helping-
understands
wait,
that's
wait,
part of the service industry, is what you're
Kyle,
saying.
So it's who
you lobbed
she
that one on the plate
is.
for Blake. Come on, man.
But no,
Trying to
it's-
win this argument.
No, listen, it's not because she was. I'm not making the point. That's not the point I was making. Not because she
Sure
was in the
sounded
food
like
service
it.
industry. I think she's in the was in the food service industry because of her personality.
I agree.
Oh.
So
I agree with that.
Okay.
All right, what track are we on? Track 9?
Snails. Doing snails.
Sorry. Here we go. Track 9, Snails.
Jumps the gun, she puts her in her arms. That is just like my mom. Never lets go, never lets me grow old. I wanna pay her back, but love is nothing you can't have. My family's not rich by any means, but I feel we won the lottery that day. The rock swallowed the girl, and I cried as cameras caught my eyes. My tears turned into butterflies. Fly away as caskets close, a new day comes.
Kyle, thoughts on Snails?
it's excellent. I love the scaling bass line.
Yeah.
I love the line "Snails see the benefits, beauty in every inch."
It's a really good line.
and like it again. Maybe a line that if I wrote it down, I'd be like, nope.
Yeah, not going to put that in there.
Can't pull it off. And they do. And it's touching. It's
And they titled the song.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And snails is kind of a gross word too.
It is kind of a weird-
kind of off-putting.
It is.
Well, it's
yeah.
also
Doesn't
weird.
come
I mean,
across
it's a
that
good
way.
lyric for a lot of reasons, I think, and not just lyric, like theme and song title and all that kind of stuff. Because like no one has ever thought of a snail as something other than gross, probably, right?
Yeah.
Essentially. And even in, it's just like snails are weird, right? And he takes this thing that's like this gross, slimy,
Mucusy.
this weird
And
thing,
it teaches us a lesson.
and turns it into like a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
That's an impressive thing to do as a songwriter, I think. So I agree, Kyle. I think it's good. Chris, what are your thoughts on it?
I don't like this version of the song. I'm so partial to the EP version. I think it's because I heard it first. I don't.
And
think
that's fair, yeah.
I don't think it has anything to do with it.
Okay.
It's like the same thing happens to me with the Jimmy World. There's a Jimmy World song where
Yeah.
I'm stuck on the first version.
Sweetness?
Demoitis.
Yes,
kind of,
it was Sweetness. Now I actually got over that one because you
Same.
can't find the old one
Same.
anymore.
Yeah.
but I can't.
Obadiah
hear this.
Split?
Oh, I can send it. I've got it. I can
got
send
that
it to you.
split.
I'll send it to you. I've
No,
got it.
don't do that to me.
Oh, you don't want it back?
I'll revert back to my
We'll
old
revert,
ways.
okay.
Don't.
No,
I won't send
Is
it to
this
you
CD
then.
skipping? What's happening?
I won't do it. Yeah, I mean, we should mention they had an EP that was between the two full length albums, and
Snails
this was
EP, right?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, and this was on there. It was a simpler version. It didn't have all the orchestration
Yeah.
and whatnot.
So I have it on vinyl and it's shaped as no, I'm thinking Swan. They had a Swan EP and it's shaped as a swan. They should have made a snail
they should
vinyl.
have made a snail one because the shell is like perfect.
I missed
They
opportunity.
really missed the
Also,
opportunity.
Missed the boat.
By the way, the love is nothing you can tax. Well, you guys already talked about the line, but he's got some great.
He really is he's a really good
It's
lyricist.
Pretty
Yeah.
good.
He's really good.
Yeah.
And he takes things that are, I feel like all the time he does that. He kind of did it with, he's really good at like painting the picture of what's going on. So it's like describing things in a way, because like the snail is like, you immediately go like, they're very slow.
Yep.
And that's a better way to maybe take in life than the fast paced
Right.
kind of thing.
He's like, but did you think about this? They're
Yeah.
enjoying life.
Have
in a
you ever
completely different way.
considered?
Well, or
I
even
have not,
like,
Nate.
I love on the previous album, the Tie the Rope
Nathaniel.
song where, it's like tie the rope, kick
Oh,
the chair.
definitely.
That's a
It's
great
obviously
song.
not about hanging yourself, but it's a great like metaphor for the way he's feeling or whatever. He's just really good at taking these things that are like I don't even want to say dramatic because it's not like he's doing really bad. I even like on this record on it's on Dog Problems, right? Where he says he gets metaphors and similes mixed up. Isn't that on, or no, that or is that on the which song is that on?
I don't know.
No, that is the last one. It's the last. It's the second to last track on the last one where he says like that's a metaphor, no way to simile. I'm still learning.
That's it.
Like, but I like that he even kind of pokes fun at himself.
Yep.
About how he does that, but I feel like he's always trying to find a creative way to connect it visually or something, and he just does a really good job. His lyrics are really good, and I'm even not, admittedly, never the guy that pays that much attention to lyric, but there's not a single song that Nate's ever written that doesn't have some lyric that like piques my interest and goes like, oh, that's interesting. Never
like a conversational
neat
style
analogy.
to it. It's weird.
Yeah, it is.
It's very unique.
And this album has it more than any of them because it feels kind of thematic and dramatic and stuff, and so he's a little more talky almost on this one in conversation.
Well, I think he's like just feeling very raw and just like I'm just gonna put it out there,
which goes back to the whole like this record just sounds like I feel like we can be certain that they were doing what they wanted with these songs.
I totally agree
because we all know what this dude can do with his voice.
Yeah,
and you're right. There are plenty of times on this record where he's just kind of like sing talking.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah. Talented guy. I wish we had. I'd take a format reunion.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'd love to talk to him. Nate, reach out.
Let's do it. He's probably swimming in fun money still. All right, let's go to track.
That's a hilarious sentence.
Swimming in fun money.
Because it could mean so many different things.
Yeah. Fun period money.
Fun period money.
All right, let's go to track 10, The Compromise.
Step 2. Throw your partner behind a desk where they'll do absolutely nothing, so it's your job to dance and smile the whole time. Don't call it a trap, 'cause it's the only way we think to get ahead. Meet me in the middle. Well, come on, let's make up a dance, and we'll agree to call it the compromise. There's no sense in complaining.
Kyle, thoughts on The Compromise?
It's excellent. Ear candy all over this one. The
Makes me want to do that.
woos in the chorus. I'm not certain, but I bet I didn't like this one when I was younger because I was so anti anything that had just the slightest country edge to it.
Oh, that's right.
I guarantee
we
were
raised in Oklahoma.
Yes, yeah.
Inbred into us.
And so it was like, and so I bet I wasn't into it. Now I totally am.
Yeah.
It's another catchy. I'm gonna be singing this later today and not be able to get out of my head type song.
I never thought about it. It absolutely has a two-step vibe to it, doesn't it? I never, ever thought about that, but you're right, Kyle. Interesting. I like that now. Yeah. Chris, any thoughts on The Compromise?
I've been learning to two-step, and I was actually, this would be a good one. Well, I love songs when you list stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my only note.
I just really like the, I like the line, and we'll agree to call it The Compromise.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's such a clever lyric because it kind of, this also reminds me a little bit of like, just by the nature of it, the, is it Steelers Wheel Stuck in the Middle with You? It doesn't have that vibe, but like lyrically, it's the same kind of idea as far as like, I don't know. I just love that line. We'll agree to call it The Compromise. It's good song. And it's, again, just like a little bit more of, I think they're just doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
They're not compromising.
No, they're just like, no. Yeah, that's actually pretty funny. You're right. They're not, are they? They're like, we're going to make the exact album we want to. We got dropped by our label. We can do whatever we want, which is fun.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
there it is again.
they break up after it.
And it's fun.
And it becomes fun.
No,
The
fun
band.
period. Just not the adjective.
I'm glad that Nate found success after. I mean, not that the format was like, they were successful, but not to the level I think that we think that they should have been. Right.
I completely agree.
I'm glad
it was definitely a moment where you're like, I think they really, because they grinded too, man. Like they didn't quit.
No, for sure. All right, let's go to track 11, Inches and Failing.
If fingers are mistakes, don't use this one to point the blame. No, just sing. I love being in love.
that little piano thing is a great example of something that you like probably don't hear if you don't have headphones on.
Yeah.
The little right ding 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 thing that's going on. It's cool. Chris, what are your thoughts on it?
Was I hungry when I made these notes? I said chorus decent but falls flat. That's not accurate.
Not accurate. You were hungry. You were
guess
hangry.
so. I'm really sorry. No, I also love being in love though. That I'm sure of. That's a great line. I don't know why I wrote that. That's so silly. Is that a shuffle we've got going to by the way?
Hey, my
No, not really.
no, not. I mean, it's barely. Not
Hungry
quite.
Chris doesn't know shit.
You're the drummer too.
Yeah, I know. Should really pack my house with some Snickers when I'm doing this.
Yeah, you really should. It, like it's like literally one of those commercials. Kyle,
I love it. I love being in love. I love the follow up. I don't care what it does to me.
Yeah.
I think that's such a good.
Howdy.
So funny. I also like, again, talking about the production that was big at this time, gang vocals was a big thing. And this is just the opposite way that everyone else was doing gang vocals. This is like, almost like, this is so obscure, sorry, but like Pete's Dragon, the original movie, there's like a bar scene where they're all singing. Like it's that kind of.
I'm not going to pretend to know what you're
I know
talking
exactly what you're talking
about.
about. Like a little chaotic.
Yes.
Yes.
And like, instead of like being cool or tough, like chant this with me, it's a little bit more musical.
Surly.
Yeah.
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 And this has a little bit of a. I wouldn't call it sea shanty.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit of.
Yeah.
Yes.
There is.
You will call it that.
There's
a little
That
bit
is
of
perfect.
You know, especially in the as you get
It's
to
a little piratey.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun,
Hoisting the
dun.
sails
Yeah, I mean it
and-
feels. I mean,
Yeah.
but I love that. Like they were like, yeah, fine.
Yeah.
We're gonna make a piratey sea shanty kind of feeling.
What if
kind of
that's
thing.
how this song began?
I
I want to write something sea shanty.
Maybe?
I want a piratey song.
Like I said, we've got sea shanty stuff. We've got Electric Light Parade from Disney World. We've got all sorts of little tangent things that go on, and I like it. Yeah, and I agree. I think I'm one of those people too that likes falling in love and doesn't care what it does. It's like, again, what do you? Worst case, Nate, you get some good songwriting material out of it.
Yeah. Make a great record.
Make a great record.
his pain, our gain.
Yeah,
Yes,
I agree.
yes.
I'm glad that, I feel bad that he got broken up with or
Same.
cheated on or whatever happened, but I'm really glad we got this record out of it. So let's go to the last track, track 12, which is If Work Permits.
Love is sneaking home. This is a joke. Love is coming home. Sometimes with sailors a sailing late, think twice about where they're anchoring in. I think I could make better use of my time on land.
Okay, we couldn't help but notice that lyric talks about,
Can't be a coincidence.
can't be a coincidence that we just
Sailors.
left talks about sailors right after what we feel like is very sea shanty
Yes.
thing.
It's a loosely nautical themed album. Is what we're getting at.
It's a loose nautical theme. Hey, we should talk about for a second because we didn't yet. I know we just played that track and I want to talk about it, but like did you ever see the artwork for this record?
Oh, insane.
It was very cool artwork for the
Talking about
record.
the
too.
lino
little
cut.
dog things.
So it was
I
like
missed out on
a
this.
cardboard cutout. I'll
Yeah.
put it.
Not
I'll
just
put it
like
on
the
screen.
visual art. Like there
Yes.
were like elements to the. Okay.
Well, and even the packaging.
The packaging
Insane.
opened up and it was like basically you could see through a window that was a cutout.
It was
of
like lino cut,
yeah.
like just crazy.
It was yeah. So it was like yeah, and it was
expensive.
I was gonna say
it was
that's
yeah, it was definitely expensive.
It's like
There's
sounds-
no, and so that's another thing where I just go like they went for it
Yeah.
all the way, even with the packaging. I forgot to talk about the
Completely.
packaging. When everyone's just doing jewel cases, they went with this crazy die cut. And I'll if you're watching on Spotify or YouTube, I'll put it up on the thing, or if not, I'll put it in the show notes or something. It was really cool artwork.
Can you make it right above my hand?
Yeah, I'll try to. I'll edit it in here. I'll learn how to do that
Okay,
in the
thank
video
you.
editing software that I don't know how to
he
use.
has nothing but time. It's fine,
yeah.
guys. Don't worry about it.
And yeah, it'll look like Chris is holding it. You'll put on your Apple goggles.
Oh my god.
It'll be great.
I wonder. Oh, will we see in the metrics if anybody's listening to our podcast on Vision Pro?
I think we will. The first person to listen to this podcast on an Apple Vision Pro, we will send. Do we have T-shirts left?
I'll send my T-shirt.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay, yeah.
I'll send you a small T-shirt.
If you send us a video of you listening to this, if you're the first person listening to this on an Apple Vision Pro, we'll send you a T-shirt.
We'll send you something.
Something.
Congratulations!
Some Finding
you
Emo
spent
swag.
Yeah.
$3,500 plus tax. You get a $5 T-shirt.
Yeah.
Made by
Finding
him at his
Yeah.
place. We didn't even
That's
invest
right.
that much in it because we have the stuff.
You're welcome.
Oh, I love it. Okay. Anyway, back to track 12. If work permits, Chris, let's go to you.
You faked me out.
I
right
faked
then.
you out.
no,
did
I thought I wasn't
completely
ready.
no.
Faked me out.
Oh, dude, I put this thing in
I feel
sleep.
like
Wait, you want to go? You can go, birthday buddy.
Okay.
Let's go, Kyle.
I was ready.
No, I feel like you.
You guys can always tell me
No.
if you want to be first, by the way. I know we've
think
been
this
doing
is
this
his
for
way-
3
I
years.
know, this is his way of
I
saying
thought your
that.
eyes
Yeah.
told me
He's making
that
it very
it's
clear.
time. What a perfect punctuation for an album that over and over again says we don't give an F
Right.
about what you think we are.
Yeah.
Or what you think we should be. To end a record that sounds like this with this style is insanity. I like the song, but I think what I like more about the song is how punk rock it is. That there's nothing else on this record even close to
There's
this.
no fuzz on this record, I think, other than on this track.
And it really is just like the final middle finger.
Yeah.
Like, no, we play what we want.
But don't you
Pinkerton.
feel like at the same time it all works together?
Yes.
Oh, precisely, yeah.
Yes, but
That's
like,
what's weird about it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but it's really hammering the point home for me.
Yep.
Oh, I agree. But there's some records where they go too all over the place, and I'm like, these two songs don't even sound like they could be on the same record. But for some reason, even though this song, you're right, it feels more punk rock. It's faster. It's more aggressive. The drums are more in front. It's got fuzz on it. It's got distorted vocals. Yep. None of this stuff is anywhere else on this record, but it is a nice kind of punctuation mark.
And it's an FU to the relationship too.
Yeah, it is.
Let her sink.
Yep.
You know,
More pirate.
More pirate. Yeah.
pirates.
The
I
anchor.
think I could make better use of my time on land.
Yeah.
It's full
What's the
pirate
anchor line?
yeah.
I don't have the lyrics up. There's a great
see.
line about the anchor, and I can't remember it now.
I'll get it.
Kyle
I'll
will
get
find it.
I'm on it.
While Chris is talking
About sometimes when sailors are sailing, they think twice about where they're anchoring, and I think I could make better use of my time on land.
Yeah,
That was the tail end. Yeah.
yeah. And so I think that's So it was the front part of that line. So anyway, it's a good end to the album. I think that it's interesting that there's not a. Sometimes we're like, well, I wonder why they put this song here. We have not said that at all on this record. Not once have we been like, what a weird position for this track.
It really is ordered perfectly.
It's ordered
I
great.
can't imagine putting any piece of this puzzle in a different spot.
So what I'm wondering is because it is so dramatic and sort of like feels themed and does flow so well, is there a chance that they really wrote all these? This is a batch of songs that they put together to be an album, or did they know they wrote this to be the last song, or did they? You know what I mean? Like it feels like such a last song.
It feels
it's like,
last song.
It feels like they wrote it and they knew that like, okay, we know that Matches is track one, obviously, into the I'm Actual.
Yeah.
That seems such a clear opening to the record, and it feels like this is a clear end to the record, and maybe everything else just fit, right? And maybe that's how you do most of these concept albums is really what they do. Is like, we know what the first two tracks are, we know what the last two tracks are, and then we just have to make the middle work. But it feels like they could have written this thing front to back.
It does.
It's like a story. It's the whole thing of the breakup. He's kind of over it by the end of it.
Yep.
At the beginning, it's just like, hey, I just want to talk about me for an hour.
Yeah.
And I feel like I just would love to know. I couldn't find anything. I can't find a lot about the making of this record. So I couldn't find anything. That's my curiosity is how much of this did they know was in the order it was going to be in before they even got in the studio? Because it feels kind of so perfect.
Those are the questions we want answered if you come on our show, guys. Like, we're not going to pepper you with questions about Taylor Swift. Like, we just want to know, like.
And we won't ask you stupid
us.
questions like,
No.
what was the character on Saturday Night Live? Chris Farley's character from Matt Foley. Yeah, Matt Foley. He'd be like, you remember that? It was awesome. Oh, those are great. That was the
Glory days.
glory days. There will never be a better cast than
I
that
agree.
cast.
Everybody says that about the cast when they were kids.
But this time it's true.
But look at the box
Sandler,
office. And
Farley, Spade, Catan,
Phil Hartman.
Wait, Catan?
Chris Catan.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he
You just
didn't do
threw
that
him-
much
he didn't
after
do
that.
anything.
He didn't do that
on.
much
You
You
after.
can't just throw him in with
You
that.
can't throw him in with that crowd.
He had several movies.
Phil Hartman.
Phil Hartman.
God rest his soul.
God, Phil Hartman was one of the funniest
R.I.P.
people ever. What's his name ended up on that too?
Caveman lawyer. That
is it-
sketch. He
what's
only
his-
did it once.
Daryl Hammond ends up in that cast too, right?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
one of his
Norm.
first years. Norm Macdonald. Yeah, that's a good
Okay,
cast.
I was wrong.
Come
I'm
on.
sorry. I'm sorry.
All right, we're all over the place. Okay, let's go to lasting impressions. Does it hold up? I think this is the most obvious. We're all going to say yes. And in fact, I'd say it's better now than it was in 2006.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Because it didn't sound like 2006 in 2006. And I think now it feels more timeless. And I think that makes it better.
We didn't understand pirate culture then.
Yeah, we didn't catch all of the pirate.
We didn't know.
That's what it was.
That's what it was. We had yet to have the pirate awakening.
It was
here in America.
Was it pre Pirates of the Caribbean?
No, that was like 2003. I think.
We were being
We were
aware.
being awakened.
We were awakened. That's what it was. We were just getting into it. I remember because I know they were doing production on that in 1999. So yeah, because I was at Disney World or when they were like, and they're making a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and I was like, how are they going to
What?
make a movie out of this dumb ride? And then they're like Johnny Depp's, and I was like, I don't believe this.
Yeah.
This tour person
this
is
is
lying to me.
Sounds like ridiculousness.
It sounds ridiculous.
And then it made $1 billion.
And then it made a gajillion dollars.
Yep.
All right, so we agree it holds up.
Yes.
Is it their best album? I think this one's trickier. Kyle, do you have an opinion?
I can't say yes. It's wonderful, but I don't know if you guys remember the last record is tied to losing a loved one to cancer, and
It's just too much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm too close to that one. So
Chris, what about you?
It's like two different bands. It's
Yeah.
really
It
hard
kind
to
of is.
compare
It is.
them. But I would say that if you were just like basing it purely on like musical ability, prowess, songwriting, song creation, song crafting, it's loads better.
They got
right?
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's their best album. I think the first one is a fantastic album, and it really has some better like pop songs, kind of singles. I mean, it's hard to like argue with the first single or Tie the Rope, or it's got so many good songs on that first record. But this one feels more like a record. Like the first one's felt like a collection of songs.
Yep. Totally.
This one feels like a front to end experience. Like if I really don't put many of these songs on playlists because I want to hear other than that one song. She Doesn't Get It ends up on playlists because it's so good. But really, for the most part, I want to hear this whole record when I hear any of these songs. And so I think it probably is their best. Is it their most important album? I don't know. Their first one was probably
Yeah.
I don't know. You could probably make the argument that they became a little bit more like fun, which is what made them huge.
I think that's
so
a
if
good
you
point.
look at it in the timeline of Fun's rise to fame,
I think you're right.
Probably.
Interesting.
I think the way that it's a step to get to Fun, which ends up being
It's a fun step.
Pretty big.
a huge thing for Nate, obviously. And we're talking about the format is really a 2-member band.
Yeah.
Just 2 guys. I mean, obviously a lot more people play on it, but
Right, but the band it's just the 2 guys, and they
yeah.
hire
I
musicians.
mean, I feel bad for Sam because Sam's like the musician that's doing
Yep.
a lot of this stuff,
Yep.
and then
He dips out.
he's not in.
All right, I guess we
Fun.
played this thing out.
This ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
It makes me want. I mean, and I don't have any idea what happened on their breakup or anything like that. I have no idea, but I do. They've obviously done a reunion thing since then, so they don't like hate each
Still
other,
friends.
obviously. And so, but I mean, I do wonder, like, man, what would Fun have been like with Sam in it? Because the third guy, who I forget his name, it's in Fun. I really like. No offense to him, he might be very, very talented. It's just that he was in a band with Nate and Jack Antonoff.
Yeah. Yep.
And so your talent is going to fade into the background a little bit.
Yep.
Like, keep in mind, I mean, I always thought Jack Antonoff. Whoa, that was hard to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was hard to
His
say.
name sounds like something you
It's-
do.
That was
It's an
bad.
action.
That was bad.
Action verb.
I always thought jacking off also.
I always thought he was talented, but like, it really wasn't until Bleachers that I was like,
Right.
wait a minute, this is like, because he was doing stuff in
Yeah.
Fun that was really cool, but
Bleachers
he really came
kinda
into
made
his
you
own,
go,
and now he's just like the biggest producer in the world.
on top of the music he's making.
Right, on top of like the awesome songs he writes and stuff. And so, yeah, it makes me think that third member maybe is just going to be outshined no matter what. But it does make me go like, man, what would Fun be like with Sam in there too?
Yeah.
I'd be into it. So yeah, I think you're right. I think I'm going with Kyle's, unless you have a different opinion, Chris, on the important bridge to.
No. No, that's
to
exactly
fun.
what I. Yeah,
Okay.
that wasn't an independent thought I had. I'm agreeing with his independent.
That's fine.
Thought.
Okay.
No, I did not come to that conclusion until he said.
Desert Island songs, 2 or 3 of your favorites. Kyle?
Oof, this one's tough.
It is very tough.
I'm gonna go with Time Bomb.
Mm-hmm.
She Doesn't Get It, and Dog Problems. And I'm not happy about it because I want to add a lot more, but those are my 3.
I think those are my 3 too.
No way.
I think we line up because it's really hard for me to pick, but I can't not pick those 3 songs.
Yep.
I couldn't possibly leave any one of them off, so I think they just become the 3.
You guys see my fire emojis?
Time Bomb, She Doesn't Get It, Dog Problems.
This never happens on a record that's
like
this
this.
good.
That's why I
Yeah.
wanted to show the emojis, so
That's wild.
we don't fake these moments.
Yeah, almost every
this
time.
Is raw. This is real.
Almost every time on a record like this, we end up
Disagreeing.
because
because
there's too
it's
many
great.
good songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are so many good songs.
Wow, that does not happen very much. Okay, so we're all in agreement. Good to know. What about Nobody's Perfect? Is there a worse song on this record?
No.
I don't know. There's a bad 20 seconds on this record.
I mean, Grumpy Chris, like the 2 of those.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
he's
Grump-
like, yeah, take it or leave it.
Grumpy Chris is like, of course it's okay.
No.
It's fine.
Too much accordion.
Grower Not a Shower. Do you guys have a one that maybe didn't?
It
hit
was
you
a
at first?
compromise for me.
Compromise,
Like truly, I disliked anything with a country vibe so much that, and it was a single, and I think I don't remember when this came out. I don't have any strong memories. I love the record now, but I have a feeling it took me a while, especially with that being a single, because I was so against country music.
I get that.
And now he writes country songs.
Yeah.
Freaking
Now he
poser,
literally
sellout piece of crap.
You write a hell of a country
No,
song
hey,
too.
hey.
Actually,
Everything
you
he
write
touches
it.
turns to
It's
gold.
kind of great.
Turns to tinfoil.
Oh,
It's
Not
it went
literal
tinfoil.
gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, not gold records. Chris, what do you think?
for me, it's the whole record. I can't really pick a song because I didn't really have a good.
And plus, you
Growing
started
impression.
listening a little
Yes.
more recently. I think I go the whole record for a different reason. I think I have to go with the whole record just because, like you said earlier, Kyle, it's like something I definitely liked. I never didn't like this record, but I liked it more and more the more I played it. It gets better, and it gets better in headphones, and it gets better.
Yeah, I want my boys to hear it.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be.
I do. I need to play it for the girls too. I never thought about doing the kid
love it.
test on this one. They would love it.
It's like to go with what you're saying, Blake. I don't remember disliking it or hating it, but I don't remember loving it as much as I do now.
Yeah, I think that's right. So that's it for us. Thanks for joining us again. If you like the show, there's a few things you can do. A, you can follow us on Instagram. 2, I'm gonna mess up all the little things here.
Thirdly,
Follow us on YouTube and Instagram. We're gonna start doing more little content and stuff. We'll maybe do some like music reaction video kind of stuff, and we'll do some fun stuff. We're gonna do some more stuff than just the 1.5 hour long episodes. You can also share it with a friend that might like it. You can rate and review us on Spotify and Apple Podcast. All that stuff helps us out. And there's a question on Spotify that says, "Hey, what would you like to hear more of?" And we get
yes.
lots of album submissions.
and we are doing some.
And I've got them in a spreadsheet, and I am tallying when people request albums. So the more an album gets requested, the
more likely.
it pops up
Yeah.
into the queue, even if it's something that we don't like. So it'll get in there.
Also, all the people that messaged and said that they've missed us, that's really nice.
Yes.
Thanks for that.
We appreciate it. We're getting back into it. We're going to start 2024 is going to be our year. We're going to come out with all sorts of fun content for you. And so thanks for joining
swimming
us.
in fun money.
Yeah. Not that
Not-
kind of
not fun, period.
No, not that kind of money. It will be like $10 to go
Yeah,
spend
no
at
fun
Subway.
money like that. You get it like a toy store.
Yeah. So
Monopoly money.
thanks a lot for joining us. We will catch you next time.